Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the Life's Good. We've been away. Actually away. We we went away with a caravan at the end of the week, just before bank holiday weekend. We've been away with our owners group. Stayed down in South Lincolnshire. And then following that weekend, we moved up to Yorkshire and stayed just outside Ripon for a few nights. And we got back just before the weekend. And then over the weekend, my daughter's come to visit. She has business up here in Newcastle and has chosen to stay with us for a few days while she's busy with that. So it's all been very lovely. Nice to see my daughter, and such a treat to get away with the caravan. Honestly, we needed a break. We've both been working throughout the lockdown period, and when we did have a break, there was nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing was open. But to get away this week, it's been absolutely fabulous, and the weather's been pretty fair as well. Now, it's not the best of days today. It's overcast, it's breezy, although it's not too cold. It's probably about 12-13 degrees at the moment. That is Celsius, by the way. I've just come home from work, and I thought it was a quick chance to get out here and have a look and see what's going on in the garden. Say hi to you guys and show you a few things that have been occurring down on the plot. Now, I have to say I was a bit disappointed when I got back. Things do run away from you very quickly in a garden, and although this top area here and these pots and things on the decking here are fine, they're absolutely wonderful. The vegetable area, there's a few issues down there. I've got carrot that's running away to seed. We need to harvest those, and Cheryl's got a method of blanching them and freezing them so that we can store them long term for use later in the season, or indeed through the winter. The pumpkins are doing really well. I'm quite excited about the pumpkins. Indeed, Cheryl is as well. We'll show you the pumpkins and the state of play with those. We're still pulling rhubarb. We've had so much rhubarb this year, it's incredible. And I think most of that is down to the fact that we've had a very wet summer. We had that really nice spell back in, when was that, sort of April, May time. It was really, really warm for a while. But since sort of the end of June into July and going into August, it's not been the best of weather up here, to be perfectly honest with you. We have had a lot of rain. The upside of that is that the rhubarb, the pumpkins and other fruit and vegetables that we're growing have actually done quite well. There are one or two issues, as I said, and I'll take you down the plot in a minute and we'll have a look at those, and yeah, I'll show you what's going on. And the other thing I wanted to say was I've actually bought some pickling vinegar. So the shallots are about ready now. I showed you in a previous video how I lifted the shallots and they'd been dried off, or we were drying them off. I put them on a tray. That tray I've actually left in the greenhouse where it didn't get wet, and they are now nice and dry, ready to be topped, tailed, the outer skins rubbed off and put into some pickling vinegar. And I do add a few other spices and bits in there. I use some mustard seed and dried chilies and things, maybe a few peppercorns, just to spice them a little bit. So I will be making a video on how I make my pickled onions, so that will be coming up very, very soon, guys. So bear with me, we'll go down on the plot and I'll show you what's occurring down there. Well, as you can see, we still have quite a lot of rhubarb sitting here, guys, and we have been pulling this throughout the summer. We've had crumbles and pies, and I keep threatening to make some more rhubarb wine, and I think that the remainder of this is probably destined for that very reason. However, we're still using it for our puddings and so on. We haven't made jam this year. That's an interesting point. I just realised we haven't made any rhubarb jam, so a little bit of rhubarb and ginger jam is quite pleasant. But look at the size of these sticks, guys. If I can get in here, I'll just twist that one off of there. Wait, look at this. They're huge. They're like mini trunks. They're not sticks at all. just split that one, doesn't matter. But still very soft, still very succulent, absolutely gorgeous rhubarb. If you look at the top of the screen, you should see a link pop in that will take you to the playlist for my rhubarb wine making process. Last year I made a series of 5 videos, I think, that show you how I made my rhubarb wine. They're quite detailed, they are a little bit lengthy, but if you follow those through, you will make gorgeous rhubarb wine. So take a look at those if you get the chance. Have a look at that playlist, rhubarb wine. Yeah, something I might do later. Well, let's have a now look at the pumpkins, because there's a lot going on there. Well, have a little look in here, guys. I don't know what you can actually see from there, but underneath here there is quite a large pumpkin. In fact, there's another one over here. I can just get that, very heavy. So there's 2 large pumpkins there, and I was looking around here, there's another one forming on the end of this runner or vine. I'm not sure of the right terminology, guys. I've always called them runners, but the end of this plant's growth, there's another one growing there, and round the corner in the carrots, I'll show you one in there. Look at this one, guys. He's actually nestled in amongst my Amsterdam carrots, but that is a wonderful pumpkin being formed and growing there. I might put something under them to keep them off the ground. We do have quite a few slugs around here, and I do use a few pellets and salt and other means to try and stop slugs from attacking the sides of these. How many have we got now? We've got 1, 2, 3, I think, having a look through all of this, we've got 5 pumpkins at the moment that I'm aware of. Now if you look up above this pumpkin, you can see this here with the white flower on. That is actually carrot going to seed. There's more up here. I've been trying to harvest as much as we can. There's quite a few still in here that we haven't pulled yet. If I just reach in, I'm getting quite a few freaks like this. So this one's actually got 5 roots on the bottom. There are actually, we're not getting a lot, but we're getting 1 or 2 that have actually split instead of growing into a nice tapered root. I'm just pulling hard on that one. So there's another one there. The bottom's come off of that one, but again, they're edible. There's nothing wrong with them. Bit of wonky veg is not going to hurt you. But we, as I said, need to harvest these now. There's so much in here. Cheryl's got a way where she blanches them, cools them very quickly, and puts them in the freezer. So we're going to be cracking on and doing quite a bit of that over the next few days to make sure we save these for use over the coming months and indeed through the winter. I just wanted to give you a quick peep in the greenhouse before we go. I'm holding you freehand, so it's going to be a little bit wobbly, but we've got some nice tomatoes forming on these vines in here. You can see them there quite easily. There's probably a dozen or so on the 4, 5 plants that I've got here. They're not the biggest. They got more forming higher up against the upper area of the greenhouse. Moneymaker, I think, was the variety, or was it Ailsa Craig? Actually, yes, Ailsa Craig. My Ailsa Craig tomatoes, they're doing okay. And in amongst these, I've got a few chilies as well. This actually is a chili in the middle here, and there are 1 or 2 little chilies forming on here. So hopefully we can keep those perpetuating and growing into the autumn, and we should get a few chilies Now I'm just looking past the tomatoes and the chilies into the back there, and you can see in the background this tucked in there was my ginger plant. And as you can see, if I move these forward a little bit, I'll try not to disturb too much here, I'll get you down under there, and you can see that my ginger has actually got a shoot on it here. So that's quite an exciting result. I've never grown ginger successfully before. I did try once before and it rotted, but this was a ginger root purchased for the purpose of growing, actually for growing and not for consumption or for eating. And it was way back in this year that I planted this. I seem to remember I showed it in a video where I put the ginger in this shallow pot container, and I did say at the time you need lots of patience with ginger. So I'm really pleased, really excited to see that it's actually got a lovely shoot on there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what progress we get with that. And just across the way here, I move this little stool out the way. These are my gherkins, and if we look on here just in front of my maximum minimum thermometer, you can see I got a little gherkin there. They're cucumbers actually, guys. They're a small type or small variety of cucumber, and we pickle them and they're referred to as gherkins. Right down the bottom, I was looking in here, there's another one there. I'm looking across this plant, there's several on the end of there. So I'm quite pleased. I've never grown gherkins before. I've got a modicum of success here. There's another one tucked in there. They're popping up all over the place. They're doing quite well, climbing up this sort of trellis of wire mesh that I put together. Again, I showed you what I did there, just to make that little bit of a climbing frame for the gherkins. You now swing you around and show you here, because this is my shallots, and these are looking nice now. As you can see, they're dried off, all the foliage is dry and crispy, and I will be taking these indoors now and cleaning them, skinning them, topping and tailing them, and popping them in the vinegar and spice mix, and I will show you that in my next video. And that's a promise, guys. I will be back very soon, in a few days, and we'll crack on and pickle these shallots. And just before we go, I'm going to walk you down past Daisy's run. She incidentally has had some leaves off of the calabrese plants that we've finally harvested. I'm not sure I'm going to grow broccoli or calabrese again. It's not something that I've had a lot of success with, and I do find that for the amount of effort and for the room they take, we've only got one head of calabrese off of each plant, and that to me it's not really, well, the best term I suppose is cost effective, but it's not giving us enough of what we want for the amount of room we're taking up here, and it's almost cheap enough to buy in the shops. So I don't know whether I'll bother anymore with that, but I'm certainly going to persevere now and put some spring greens in. We'll be growing cabbage and maybe some overwinter spring onions. But the reason I wanted to come down here is to show you this. This is a tub that had potato in. Well, it's still got potatoes in. I haven't tipped it out yet, although the foliage has died off. But sitting on top of that pot, I realise, is a rather splendid pumpkin. I mean, look at that, guys. It's huge already. So it's sitting there on top of my potatoes, quite happy and swelling nicely. So there's another pumpkin. So we're having quite a success with the pumpkins, but they have rather taken over my garden, to say the least. Daisy, you're telling us a story. I can hear you chatting away there. Yeah. You've always got to have something to say. Guys, I'll take you back up the top now, and we'll say cheery bye and explain what else we're going to be up to in the not too distant future. Well, it was just a quick one today, guys, just to let you know that we're still here and we're cracking on with the things that we need to do with the plot and other produce down and around there, and the greenhouse as well. So what's coming up soon? The pickled onions, definitely the pickled onions, probably some jam making, and I'm thinking of doing another wine compilation. We've got blackcurrants in the freezer that we harvested from our blackcurrant bushes this year. We've got quite a few of them, quite a few kilos, so I was considering making some blackcurrant wine. So if I do that, I will definitely show you the process in that. Jams, chutneys, wine, all these things we will be putting together this next month or so. It's that time of year when we start putting things together and preserving them for the winter. And I'll also be considering what I can be putting back in the ground as I'm clearing areas now for harvesting next spring. So certainly I'm considering broad beans, spring onions, spring greens. January king cabbage would be a good one. The Cavolo Nero, which is a type of kale, I'm going to be sowing some more of that and see if I can get some of that in the ground for spring, and anything else I think of in the meantime. So whatever I'm up to, I will let you know, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Thanks for popping in, thanks for sticking around, thanks for watching the video. I've got quite a few new subscribers, I notice. I'm creeping up in numbers, so I would like to thank everybody that's taken the time to watch my videos and indeed subscribe to the channel. It's been a bit hit and miss these last few months, what with the lockdown and work and many other things. So we're persevering, we're trying to keep things going, and we're trying to maintain some videos for you guys, and indeed show you what we're up to and how we go about growing our fruit and veg and making all our other preserves, home produce in the kitchen. Well guys, I'm gonna nip in now. It's getting a bit chilly and it's a bit breezy and it's threatening on raining at the moment. I've got a couple of things to do this evening, and I've got some dinner to prepare, and indeed my daughter to spend time with, so I'm looking forward to that. So whatever you're doing, you take care of yourselves, you be happy, you be safe, and come back and see us soon in the Life's Good. Bye bye now.